Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brat, and I are going to dig into the innovative convo I had with Taylor Smith in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that interview, feel free to pause this now, go back and listen to that one, and then come back and join us. All right. Okay, so y'all, happy Merry Christmas. We're past the Christmas holiday. If you're listening to this, it means you survived. So good job. We are also really excited because this means we opened the Agency Mini number 6 doors.
Yeah, we have.
So we are doing our 6th Agency Mini end of January. It's January 23rd to the 29th. It is our 7-day coaching program for fitness business professionals. All of you Pilates instructors know and love it. And we're really excited. The space is limited. And it is the early bird time when this comes out.
Yeah, that means that there's the hookup.
It's the hookup. And you are welcome to wait. But we hope you don't.
You can.
You can if you like living on the edge and seeing if something sells out or paying more, you might as well. But you can go to profitablepilates.com/mini.
Profitablepilates.com/mini.
MINI. And snag your spot. Tell a friend who's a fitness professional about it. It's really super fun. We only offer it twice a year.
It's going to be a snippet into our ongoing coaching program for fitness business professionals.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a whirlwind. It's going to be very revealing for you in your business to see what you could do with your business. And you're going to love it. It's going to be really amazing. So come join us.
Yeah. And we're on our way to Miami.
Yeah, we are.
We're going back. Oh, that's back to Cali. Sorry, that's the wrong song. But anyways, we're going to Miami, and I'm so excited to see our friends and to teach on a rooftop. So if you are in Florida,
Bienvenidos a Miami.
That's the song. Come join us at Pelathon. We're going to be on their rooftop for a sunset class.
Yeah, okay. On the 30th.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to figure that out, go to onlinepilatesclasses.com/tour.
Yep.
Yeah, come join us. It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. I'm freaking loving this trip. I mean, in full disclosure, y'all, we are recording this pre-trip, so we have no idea how cold we're going to be, hot we're going to be, comfortable.
I know. I have literally done all the forecasts of every day that we're going to stay in the van.
And because we have an audience question from Erica Quest.
Well, the coldest that it's going to be is going to be 22 degrees.
Which is way warmer than our last year's trip.
And that actually should be tonight.
Oh, okay.
Meaning we're going to be in Durango, Colorado.
So if you're listening to this in real time, you're going to go back in time. We've already done this.
Yeah. So you can ask us how that went.
Yeah.
And then by the time we get down to Miami, it's going to be higher than the 30s. It's going to be fine. Yeah. Also, we'll have a house down there.
Yeah. Well, Erica Quest wanted to know.
Oh, good old EQ.
Yeah. She wants to know.
Is the van insulated?
Does she have to worry? Because I don't think I told you this. When we were staying the night in Vail last year, which was our first night in the van, and y'all, we literally drove it off the lot, filled it up with all of our stuff, and then took off for the East Coast. And we went on December 4th. It was so early in December. It was 8 degrees in Vail. And
yes,
we were actually pretty solid until August stood up from underneath the covers, turned around, and then just basically took all the covers off of us. And we both were like, it's so fucking cold.
Yeah, it was definitely cold weather camping where you only were willing to get your oval of the top of your face out from some hoodies and blankets and things. Plus we had tons of blankets and 3 mobile space heaters, I like to call them. aka the dogs. And then August messed the whole thing up at 4 a.m. by standing up in the middle of the night and stretching, spinning around in a circle, and laying back down while proceeding to pull
all of our covers
all
off.
the blankets off.
And once they were off, it was too cold. But anyways, back to my story. Erica Quest woke up in the middle of the night thinking we were cold. She had a dream that we were really cold.
When?
On that same night.
No way. That's weird.
She texted me, and it was that morning, and she's like, I woke up to a nightmare. Are you guys warm enough? I had a dream that you were really cold. And I said, well, that's so crazy, because we were fine. We were totally fine until August stood up. So anyways, Erica Quest, Brad did insulate the van.
The van is insulated. It is ready to go. Well, if you want to read along to our journey, our progress on the van, you can do that on the onlinepilatesclasses.com blog. And you can actually see pictures and read about what we're working on there. So that's going to be a long but very fun project, and we hope you join us for the journey.
Yeah, hopefully it's not as long as it sounds, but hopefully
I mean, we're definitely a year. Could be longer than that. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Taylor Smith.
Yeah, Taylor.
Okay, so Taylor is she is a teacher turned CEO and is currently running a handmade sticker shop, Studio Sisters, on Etsy, and is teaching others how to create a 6-figure salary doing specifically what they love.
Isn't it so cool? I thought it was so cool. She and her sister made enough on Etsy to quit their, in air quotes, real jobs and do what they love. And then because they figured it out, they're teaching other people to do it. And of course I'm obsessed with that because that's what we do. But I just love it. I don't know. I just think it's so great. There's like no stop. If you want to do something and you do want to make it your living, like literally you can make sticker making a living. And I did go on to Etsy for stickers, and it's not like she has no competition, y'all. There is so much competition on the sticker front. It's crazy. So I'm super excited about them.
It definitely was a little shocking that is what they make is only stickers, and they're all handmade, and they basically, that's what they do now is
I know.
Stickers. So that was like, I listening to her share, like how the timing of it all was also really incredible. If you didn't listen to this, go back and figure out like, when did they start? The beginning of COVID. And within 4 months, within 3 months, she said she knew she should be quitting her job and focusing on stickers full time.
Yeah, which is really cool. And also like, very interesting. I didn't realize when we were scheduling this, but our next week's guest also started her company right around the same time as at the beginning of COVID. And so it's like, you can think of that being like the worst time, but if you have something unique and different and you have belief and perseverance, it's kind of amazing what you can do. So, okay. One of the things that I thought she'd love was well, there's so many things we talked about and I was really excited about, but I really enjoyed her bringing up the story we tell ourselves about others will think about us. And I think that this is really interesting because if anyone has ever taken the story that they're telling in their head about what others will say and just said it out loud, I think it really does diminish its power because there are we all tell ourselves different stories, you know, like I remember even when we moved here, I was like, oh my God, what are people going to think? We went from this tiny house to a really big house. We went from a tiny, tiny, tiny apartment to this big house.
500 square feet.
Yeah, to this massive space. And are people going to like judge us? What are they going to think about us? And what in the world? People are so excited about it. But in my head, I just was like, oh my God, people are going to think that like we ran off with all this money, which we didn't do. But like, I don't know
why
I
what?
thought that.
I'm sorry, what?
I know. I just thought like, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel like I thought I would come off as bragging. It'd be like, this is my new house. When really it was like literally the same bills we just moved. But like, in my head, I had this weird story I was telling myself what others would think about our move. And it was so dumb because as soon as I said it out loud, as you can hear, it's like such a ridiculous story. But we tell these stories to ourselves and we believe them because thoughts become facts. And so it's just really important, I think. I'm grateful that she brought this up. And I hope if you're listening to this, whatever story you're telling yourself, I challenge you to say it out loud and actually like listen to the story because you'll probably laugh about it. Like it's really hysterical. Like what I was telling myself a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I think that when we begin to believe the stories that we're telling ourselves. And that's the crux of the issue is we actually, that confidence, you know, when you see someone walk in a room and they're, and you're like, wow, that person, they've got it together. They know what they're doing. You know, that's the way they see themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the story they're telling themselves. And so if you have a story that you're telling yourselves that you're not worth it or not worthy or no one should follow you or listen to you or whatever it might be, you know, when you're out there interacting with people, you might not be verbally sharing that story, but you may be mentally sharing that story. Mm-hmm. Your body language, the way you phrase sentences, the way your face is emoting things, you're telling a story as well.
Yep.
You know, so it's really important that we have a positive conversation with ourselves.
Yeah.
So that when we're interacting with others, they're sensing that too. Now, I know that you can also that's something where it could be fake it till you make it, right? Where it gets weird and there's all sorts of fascinating stories about people, you know, like.
Well, but that's where it is beit till you see it. Because as you're saying it, like I just remember. So this is where my brain went. Everyone, like as we're talking about this, I remember when I was in retail, this one guy, he would come in and he was having his personal life was a hot mess, but you would never know it because he'd walk in and as soon as he crossed the threshold of the store, his eyes would light up, his heart would lift, and he's like, "Oh, I tell myself it's showtime," and he doesn't walk, he struts. All the way up, and he would have the best sales, 100%. And so in that moment, I learned something. When I became sales and I started managing that store, that was like the thing I told myself. And then when I became a Pilates instructor, oh my God, my first time I had to teach a lot of people was when my mentor literally called me up. She's like, "I'm locked out of my apartment. I've got my dog. I can't make it to the gym. Can you teach my class?" And I was like, yeah, I can go teach your class. And she's been teaching for like 20 years at this point, right? And so I've been teaching for like 6 months and I've never taught more than like 7 people at once. And so I go to teach this group class for her. And of course, everyone is like disappointed because it's not her. And I'm like, she's locked out. But in that moment, I didn't fake it till I make it. I didn't know I was being enticing because I didn't know that phrase existed. But I did say, okay, if I knew how to teach 30 people at one time, what would that look like? How would that feel? What would that be like? And I just freaking did that. And that within 7 minutes, someone smiled. And like, I was like, okay, we're good. So, but honestly, it was the story I told myself. I told myself I could do it. I told myself that I have these feelings and things. And if I had told myself a story like, oh my God, everyone's going to think I'm a fraud. Everyone's going to think I don't know what's going on. Everyone's going to wonder what like why the hell is she even a teacher? No one's going to come take sessions with me. I would have sucked. Yeah. I can tell you that right now. So anyways.
I mean, I actually totally relate to the moment of your, fellow employee hitting the floor, because when I worked in restaurants, that was exactly the way that I was trained by one of my closest friends growing up. He said, whenever you pass through this doorway, which was the kitchen into the restaurant floor, there is a smile on your face. Yeah. There's no other option. And I was like, oh yeah. And I learned that when I was, 17. And so I took that with me for the rest of my time working in restaurants.
And it really does change. Like if you are having a bad day and you're going into work, and you just keep going, I'm having a bad day, you are going to just have the freaking worst day. But if you go, okay, today has the opportunity for awesomeness.
Yeah. And what a position to be dropped in, where you're like, I'm teaching the class today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. So anyways, just the fact is, I really did love that she brought up about the stories we tell ourselves, but other people will think. Truly tell yourself a different story. That's the coolest thing about stories. You can just tell a new one. I mean, like, it's, that's what stories are for. So what did you love?
Okay. So she said that the importance of holding yourself, the importance of holding yourself or having someone hold you accountable to your time off.
Ooh.
And I know the reason that this was a thing for her was because she's in business with her sister. Mm-hmm. So presumably she's around her sister often. Yeah. And the two of them kind of trade off checking out, because she also said that they work on different time schedules. Yeah. Because her sister is a super early riser. Like up at 4 or 5 in the morning and then working on design. And that made me laugh because I know someone like that. So do you all.
That's me.
That's Lesley. Yeah. So, and then obviously she works hard all day. And then I'm on a totally different time zone or time schedule where I get up later and I stay up later. And so what we've identified is that the best time for us to be having the brainstorm sessions or whatever is actually the middle of the day. And that's when both of our brains are firing at full capacity. Mm-hmm. But it's very easy for, her to ask me questions about, things the second that I wake up, and me to ask her questions about things after she's checked out for the night. And so we have to be, respectful of each other's time and boundaries. Yeah. With taking the evening off or, sitting down and having breakfast kind of a thing.
Yeah. And it's not easy, but if you, it also is a work in progress always, because sometimes I get great ideas at like 7 p.m. and then it's like, well, now I'm just open up the door to work. But having that person to be like, hey, let's just enjoy the walk, or hey, can you put that on your ideas parking lot? And also the understanding that you can say it back, like, hey, I'm actually off work right now. I love this idea. Can you just put it on another, can you just set aside a time to work on it? So
and then unless it's a time sensitive thing, that's always a thing that can be like, oh yeah, of course, 100%. Yeah. I'll throw that down and we can discuss it tomorrow, so yeah. And that's, I love that because I thought, well, first off, I live that. But also too, I saw my parents, do this. They've worked together and they still work together. Like they've been married for 40 years. My mom started working when I was 12 years old. So, 14 years into their relationship. So it's been, basically 25 years of them working together or a little more. And, when dinner was ready, when it was dinner time, it was, they were, I don't think I ever heard them talk about work, so that was also something that was amazing. A good example. That's amazing. It was a very rare occasion. Like, I mean, most of my life, I guess I knew what my dad did. I just knew that he was an accountant, but I never actually heard any of the specifics of it, during the day, even though they worked together. So,
that's cool. I like that. Well,
here
we go. Something for us to keep working on. Okay.
Let's talk about the beit action items from your conversation with Taylor Smith. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your interview with her? I'm just going to jump in. The one thing she said towards the end was to make the thing, right? Because she started a sticker company, and that's, like, to me, that seems like that. Okay, that's surprising. I don't think that would have been my thing by any means. But make the thing, whatever yours is, time bound. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is so important for whether you're starting a company or you want to read a book. I mean, it doesn't matter what the thing is. If you don't associate a deadline with it, it will always be just something that you want to do instead of something that you're going to do.
Well, I think we might have talked about this before. It's okay to move the time boundness you put on it.
Yeah, I think that's true.
You have to have an honest conversation. Why am I moving this time? Like, we wanted to have the profitapplies.com website up. I think it was in freaking March. It didn't get done until the summer, but it wasn't because we weren't working on it. It's just because as we were working on it, we're like, oh, this is a bigger project than we actually anticipated. We're going to need X amount of more days to do it. So
we also decided to add functions and make it fancy and do all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
as long as you're actually taking action on it, if you need to move the time, it's fine. But having the time bound piece part actually makes you take some action. And if you don't take action, then you won't have clarity. So
I think it's also I went back to when we started learning Khmer.
Yeah.
You know, we had a weekly class with our teacher.
I miss that so much.
I miss it too, actually, a lot. We had a weekly class with our teacher, and that time-bound, class seems very obvious. But, it forced us to study. It forced us to go do it. It forced us to be in it, to practice it, to think about it, right? And that's something we signed ourselves up for, obviously. But, it changes the game when you have a deadline associated with it.
Well, and actually that's, I think, you can really start to figure out, like, if one of the things you are as a procrastinator, a perfectionist, by setting aside some time slots, having things scheduled, it really does help you take that action and at least see if you like something. It is also okay to do the thing during the time slot you said and go, I don't really like this. Great. Now you know. Now it's no longer taking up space in your brain.
Yeah. I love it. Well, what about you?
My biggest takeaway. So I really like this one because it really comes natural to me, but it's not always about me. So let me explain this. So she said, be the initiator in your life. And I don't think that comes easy for a lot of people. And I also think depending on where you are mentally, that could be really hard. But I do still love this. And what I'm hoping to say is if you can't be the initiator in your life on something you actually do truly want to do, like you've done, you know it. Like, this isn't like a should do. This isn't like something you think you got to do because everyone else is doing it. This is like, you want to do this, but you're struggling with the initiation because enter perfectionist of some form of it here, or maybe you have some mental health going on that makes you a little harder, right? My challenge to you is to add on or find someone to help you take that first next step. So that could be a coach, right? Like, especially if you are financially invested in something, you'll be surprised how much initiation you'll take. Or it could be having an accountability partner, could be being it till you see it literally, because then people are gonna be like, hey, how's that thing going? And so there's different ways to be the initiator in your life and or get initiation to be on there for you to help you take some action. And so if it doesn't come naturally to you, one of my top 5 strengths is activator. So it becomes I get really frustrated if I can't just take action. Like, it couldn't drive me more crazy. But if that isn't you, let's brainstorm some ideas of ways that you can be the initiator in your life. Because the alternative is you just waiting. Yeah.
I mean, well, it's kind of like what we were talking about with the deadlines and, also the importance of having someone hold you accountable to, we said time off, but just hold you accountable in general.
Yeah.
And I think, but, I think also the when you want something, you will be willing to make change to make that thing happen.
Yeah.
And so it really does depend on how much you want the thing.
Yeah. And I think that's also interesting to figure out. Like, if you're not actually, like, if you're like nodding along with this and then you're still not initiating something, you may want to do a deep dive on if you want that thing or not.
Yep.
Yep. I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so freaking grateful for you. What a year it's been. How are you going to use these tips in your life? Let us know by sending us a DM to the pod on Instagram, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell. Our associate producer is Amanda Fratarelli.
Kevin Perez at Diseño handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jaira Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Pedroso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.